Hello everyone, ARG back again with some more Aki today. So we are going to obviously continue our run with the LA Kings, and of course as soon as I started to go live, there's a plane flying above my house making a bunch of noise. So sorry if you've heard that. I also want to apologize because it is kind of messy behind me. That is because we are starting to pack. We are going on a trip, so that's not because I'm a sociopath that just has a super messy room or anything like that. So yeah, we're leaving on Thanksgiving Day. We are flying to California. I've never been to California. So we'll see what's going on over there. I am going to two Sens game over there. We're gonna go to the Anaheim game and then the game in LA. And the game in for the game in LA, I'm gonna be joined by JT Dutch. Those that have been around my channel for a little bit have probably seen his name, or at the very least seen the collaboration we did for the random debut in the Nordiques challenge that we did together for Franchise Hockey Manager 7, so that was fun. So we're actually gonna meet, so yeah, so it could be you. With $100 million, you could be that one person. Just kidding, of course. So yeah, so for about a week, there's not gonna be really videos or streams or anything like that. So I know I'm breaking everybody's heart, but you gotta toughen up a little bit. I know it's 2021 and everybody, wears their feelings and, how they view the world on their sleeve and everything. Well, you're gonna need to tough it up a little bit. But anyway, alright, so as far as actual Franchise Hockey Manager goes, we have only one injury left, which is Ray Shepard. Sadly, we won't see him until playoffs time from the time frame I'm seeing there, so we're going to need to finish the season without him. I'm still trying to trade some of my pieces. There is not a whole lot going on that front. Before coming live, I did check the trading block and I'm looking for a defenseman, and boy oh boy, not a whole lot of them available out there. So I'm kind of staying put for now. February, I'm probably going to be a lot more aggressive regarding that. That's also when I'm going to, as usual, send my contract offers for the players that I am going to keep, and that's going to be that. So today we have January of 1990, so the numbers on the calendar change. We are still first in the conference. We only have a 4-point lead over the Flames anymore, although the Flames did play 2 more games. We didn't have a great month of December, so I'm a little kind of wary about what's going to happen this month. We definitely cannot deal with too many more injuries to key players, or having Luc Robitaille suspended again. So we have Ken Baumgartner that's suspended, but that's okay. Alright, so I think we're ready, so let's get started. And of course, go Kings, go! Except next Saturday, because I'm gonna be there, or this coming Saturday. It's not even next Saturday, it's this coming Saturday. I'll be there, and I'm gonna be cheering for my poor Sens who are really struggling this year. Alright, so we start the new year in Washington against the Capitals, so it's gonna be 4 road games and then like 4 or 5 home games, and then we're hitting the road again. So it looks like the Kings' schedule back in around those years was pretty much blocks of away games and then blocks of home games, which kind of makes sense with all of the travel that they have to do. Alright, so in Washington, Washington is 14-20-4. We did lose our only game against Washington this season. It was at home. It was a 4-2 loss. So hopefully we can avenge that. Let's get this thing going here. Alright. We're going to start with Glenn Ely in net. Andy Moog, whom I tried to pick up on waivers, was claimed by Washington, and he's going to be in net for the Caps. I totally could have used Andy Moog on my team. And we start with a loss. It is a 4-3 road loss against the Capitals. They outshot us 26-25. Dale Hunter was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Mike Gartner was the second star with 2 goals. And Dave Hunter was the third star with a goal. Alright, so let's see. So, oh yeah, the Caps scored 3 unanswered goals in the first period. So that kind of set the tone of the game right there. There was a fight between Dale Hunter and Gerald Deduck, and then John Cordick fought Gordon Deneen 7 seconds later. Then in the second period, Mike Gartner scored from Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille. Then Washington scored, made it 4-1, and then Mike Ridley scored his 10th from Mike Kruszenski and Jim Fox, made it 4-2 Washington after 2. In the third period, fairly early, Mike Gartner scored from Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille. Gave us some hope that maybe we could come back in that game, but we never got that tying goal, and we lost by 1-4-3. There was a fight between Kelly Buckberger and Gerald Deduck as well in the third period. Alright, and Gary Galley is hurt. He sounded fine yesterday on the telecast in the game of for the Sens against the Avalanche, but he's hurt now. Alright, hopefully not for too long. I don't have a whole lot of puck-moving defensemen in my system or at all. Day to day, we can deal with that. Alright, Bruce McNall is still satisfied despite that we didn't do all that good in December, and we don't have a whole lot of time to feel sorry for ourselves because we are now in Uniondale to face one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league, the New York Islanders. They are 28-7-5, and we are 0-1 against them. We played at home against the Islanders and lost 5-1. Right, Rolly Melanson's going to be in net for us. Kelly Rudy's going to be in net for the Islanders. That's another loss. We lost 3-2. Wow. We're not doing good, folks. I don't know what to do. Aside from panicking and throwing a fit, I don't have any other range of emotions. Oh wow, we really outshot the Islanders to 32-21, and we just couldn't win that one. Greg Gilbert was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Dan Gratton was the second star with a goal, and Pat LaFontaine was the second star with a goal and an assist. Right, so the Islanders scored twice in the first period. It was 2-0 at that point. Then they scored again in the second period, made it 3-0. Then we had Dan Gratton score from Scott Arneal and Jeff Smith, made it 3-1 Islanders. There was a fight between Alan Kerr and Randy Ladouceur, and then Joe Rickey fought Gerald Deduck. Then in the third period, Luc Robitaille scored from Randy Ladouceur 3-2, and we just couldn't tie the game. We lost by 1 yet again. Wow, we're going to need to turn things around here. Alright, Peter Taglianetti is on waivers. I will not be picking him up. I cannot anyway. Paul Coffey extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had an assist against Boston. Red light stays on for Mario Lemieux. He had 3 goals and an assist in that same game against the Bruins. And Coach report. I'm good. Alright, 1 day off, and then we're going to be in New Jersey to play against the Devils. Now, hopefully we can beat the Devils. Suspension for Anton Stastny. He's going to miss 4 games for the Nordiques. Alright, so we're going to be playing in New Jersey against the Devils. The Devils are 12-25-4. We tied against the Devils earlier this season, a 2-2 tie in New Jersey. I would really like to win this game, though. We are starting to lose the ground that we have on the Flames. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Sean Burke is going to be in net for the Devils. A 5-1 win. There you go. That's what I wanted to see. We outshot the Devils 38-21. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Mike Gartner was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Luc Robitaille was the third star with a goal and an assist. So basically the first line did most of the damage. Luc Robitaille opened up the scoring in the first from Jeff Smith and Wayne Gretzky. Then the Devils tied the game. But shortly after, a minute 5 later, Wayne Gretzky scored his 45th from Mike Gartner and Luc Robitaille, 2-1 Kings after 1. Joe Cirilla and Randy Ladouceur fought, so that happened. Then in the second period, Mike Gartner scored short-handed, made it 3-1. Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Jim Fox and Mike Ridley, 4-1 Kings. And then Jim Fox scored from Gerald Deduck and Mike Kruszenski. It was 5-1 after 2. We had another fight between Ken Daneyko and Marty McSorley. Then in the third period, Ken Daneyko and Marty McSorley fought again. There were no more goals. 5-1 was the final score. Oh, lots of news. Magnus Roop is on waivers. I will not pick him up. He's only an alpha star left winger. Kirk Muller extends his point streak to 12 games against us. He had that 1 goal. Brian Leach is day-to-day. 9-stitch facial cut. There was no stopping Kelly Kisio in that same game for the Rangers. He had 4 goals against the Minnesota North Stars. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Brian Mullen. In that same game, he had 4 assists. Paul Coffey extends his assist streak to 9 games with 2 assists against the Canucks. No further discipline for Philadelphia's Jay Wells was looked at. No, not suspended over there. And speaking of suspension, Terry Cartner in Philly is back from his own suspension. Alright, we have 1 day off and then we're going to be in Toronto to conclude this road trip. Trevor Linden is suspended with the Canucks. He's going to miss 3 games. Quebec is looking at moving Robert Picard. Well, he's a D-man, but he's not going to be very good for very long. He's a 2-star defenseman. Oh dear God, yeah, that's one of those that's you know, it's a trap. Like, oh, he has 2 stars, and then you go and you look, and you know his highest thing is a 2-way defenseman. He's a 9, so I am not going to go for him. No, thank you. I thought about it. Alright, in Toronto to play the Leafs. Leafs are 16-22-4. That's good for 7th in the conference. We are 1-0 against the Leafs. We did win 5-1 at home against them. Let's beat them in Toronto as well. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. John Casey is going to be in net for the Leafs. That's a 4-1 win. We will take it. We were outshot in that one, 32-27. Mike Kruszenski, FJ's favorite, was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Glenn Ely was the second star with 31 saves and the W. That's a pretty good game. Gerald Deduck was the third star with a goal and an assist. The Leafs opened up the scoring in the first, then Wayne Gretzky tied the game from Luc Robitaille. It was tied at 1 after 1. We had a fight between Mark Osborne and Marty McSorley. Nobody scored in the second period. Then in the third, we scored 3 unanswered goals. Gerald Deduck scored from Jim Fox and Mike Kruszenski. Richie Dunn from Gerald Deduck and Mike Kruszenski. And then Chris Contos scored shorthanded in an empty net from Mike Kruszenski and Jeff Smith. 4-1 for the Kings. And that was the final score. Alaya Frate and Marty McSorley face punched each other in the third period as well. Uh-oh. so yeah, we're gonna need to see what happens with that here. So Gerald Deduck got suspended, and we still have Gary Galley that's hurt. So Deduck is gonna miss 3 games. I have like 3 days off, so hopefully Galley's gonna be able to play, and I don't have to recall somebody. Suspension over for Ken Baumgartner back in the lineup with us. Open Ice leads to a productive night for Jeff Courtnall with the Capitals. He had 5 assists against the Bruins, pretty good. No one could stop Bernie Nichols of previous Kings fame. He had 5 goals against the Bruins as well, wow. Brian Noonan in Chicago is suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. Brian Propp lights the lamp. He had a hat trick in that same game against the Hawks. Ray Ferraro extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against the Oilers. There was no stopping Esa Tikkanen with the Oilers. 3 goals in his game against the Raiders. Paul McLean is back from suspension with Detroit, and Paul Coffey extends his assist streak to 10 games with 2 assists against the Jets. Oh wow, funny, the Jets played Pittsburgh yesterday in real life as well. Alright, so let's take a look here. Alright, so Galley cannot play right now, but that could change. And then Gerald Deduck is suspended, so obviously he can't play. So we're gonna have to see here and hope that Galley can play. Alright, so let's see. Tom Martin and Tim Lenardon are on waivers with Minnesota. I cannot claim them, and I wouldn't anyway. Rob Ramage is suspended with the Flames. He's gonna miss 3 games. Mark Messier extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal against the Flames. All right, come on, Gary. You need to feel better. Oh, we only have 1 more day off. Oh, I think he's going to be able to play. Ken Hammond has been put on waivers. I cannot claim him. Kirk Muller's point streak ended at 12 games. He was held scoreless against the Jets. Paul Coffey extends his assist streak to 11 games with an assist against the Rangers. And Gary Galley might be back soon. Let's double check, see if he can play. He can, and he will. You will play hurt because Gerald Deduck is suspended. Alright, so we are about to play the Blues. We're back home. We're going to play 5 straight, I think. Yep, we're going to play 5 straight games at home. Starts with the Blues. They are 15, 22, and 5. That's good for 8 in the conference. We are 1-0 against the Blues. We trounced them 8-3 in St. Louis. Greg Millen is going to be a net for the Blues. Glenn Ely is going to be a net for me. Go Kings. Oh, we lost 6-4. That's not good. We returned home and we lost. Oh boy. Oh, we were dominated too. The shots were 49-27 for the Blues. Mike Bullard was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Jim Fox was the second star with 3 assists. And Dave Laurie was the third star with a goal and an assist. Full crowd here in Inglewood for the game. Mike Ridley opened up the scoring in the first from Mike Kruszenski and Jim Fox. Then the Blues tied the game 1-1 after 1. Gord Dineen and Tony McKegney got into a fight. Gordon and Tony McKegney fought into the first, and then Marty McSorley and Tom Tilley also did the same. Then the Blues scored 4 unanswered goals in the second period. It was 5-1 St. Louis at that point. That's not good. We don't want to see that. Then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Jim Fox and Luc Robitaille. He made it 5-2. Then Dan Gratton scored his 5th from Jim Fox and Richie Dunn. It was 5-3, but then the Blues broke our backs 23 seconds later. They made it 6-3. Then Randy Wood scored from Bob Kudelski and Chris Kontos. It was 6-4 at that point, and that's how we lost. Yeah, we need better D. That's where my problem is at. Strong night from Mike Bullard. As we saw, he had 3 goals and an assist. Mark Messier's point streak ended at 12 games. No points against the Flames. Gary Galley feeling better. Paul Coffey extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 assists against the Devils. So that's also 12 straight games for him with at least an assist. Pat LaFontaine is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games with the Islanders. Ray Ferraro's point streak ended at 12 games. He was held scoreless against the Canucks. Gary Galley is fully recovered. Oh, and then there's been a trade between the Capitals and the Flyers. I always like to look at those. Ooh, that's a big trade. Ooh, I like those even better. Alright, so Washington traded Jeff Courtnall and Lou Franceschetti to the Flyers for Scott Mellenby and Shel Samuelson. Wow. That's a pretty big trade, folks. Pretty big trade indeed. All right. Meanwhile, we're going to not make a big trade, I suppose, and we're going to be hosting the Edmonton Oilers. So they are in town. Edmonton is now 20-21-4. That's good for 4th in the conference. We are 3-2 against the Oilers, and we still hate them because they took us out of the playoffs last season. Grant Fuhr is going to be in net for the Oilers. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. We lost 4-1. We're about to not be first in the division, in the conference anymore. A 4-1 loss at home against the Oilers. We were outshot 36-24. Charlie Huddy was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Keith Acton was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Craig Simpson was the third star with an assist. Full crowd yet again, but we came up short. Oilers scored first in the first. Then Gary Galley scored his 15th on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then the Oilers took a 2-1 lead into the second period. Then they scored 2 more in the third, made it 4-1. There were no fights in this game. Anton Stastny is back from suspension with the Nordiques, and Paul Ranheim is suspended with Calgary. He's going to miss 1 game. Right, we have a day off, and then we're hosting the Whalers. It's not going to get any better. The Whalers are really good this year. Red light stays on for John McLean. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Canadiens. Trevor Linden is back from suspension in Vancouver. Adam Oates extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against the Jets. Paul Coffey extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 assists against the Capitals, so that also extends his assist streak to 13 games as well. Keith Acton is rumored to be on the block. I could go for him, but I don't think that he's going to be that much of an upgrade for me. And then there's been a trade between Montreal and Hartford. Is that going to be a big trade again? No. So Montreal sent Ken Yaremchuk to Hartford for Kerry Wilson. Definitely not of a trade of the same magnitude of the Washington-Philadelphia trade we just saw. Alright, so we're struggling, not doing too good. Oh, we slipped now. Calgary is first in the conference. Well, that doesn't make me mad, then I don't know what will. All right, we do have a game on Anto. So Hartford in town, they are 28, 13, and 2. We are 0 and 2 against Hartford. That's the first time we're going to play them at home, however. Hopefully we can beat them. But like I said, they're pretty good. Peter Sidorkowitz is going to be in net for the Whalers. Rody Melanson is going to be in net for us. Go Kings, go! 1-1 tie. Ugh. I mean, I guess I'll take it because the Whalers are really good, but on home ice, you want the W. We outshot Hartford 37-34 in that one. Gary Galley was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Ron Francis was the second star with a goal, and Mike Ridley was the third star with an assist as well. Full crowd yet again here in Inglewood. Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring in the first on the power play from Mike Ridley and Gary Galley. Then there were a few fights in the first. Bob Kudelski fought Sean Cronin. Then Marty McSorley fought Ulf Samuelson. And then Jim Fox fought Dean Evason. And in the second period, Hartford tied the game. It was tied at 1. There was a fight between Marty McSorley and Kevin Deneen. Then in the third period, some more fighting. Kevin Deneen fought Marty McSorley. Dean Evason fought... Oh, sorry. Gord Deneen fought Kevin Deneen. Then Marty McSorley fought Dean Evason. Too many fights, I get confused. Too many face punching going on. I cannot keep up. Alright. Alright, bad news for Hartford. Randy Muller got hurt in the game against us. He will miss 5 months with a torn calf muscle. Oh, Gerald Deduck is back from his suspension. That's good. We kind of need that. Injury puts Steve Yzerman on the sidelines with Detroit. He's going to miss 12 days with an ankle laceration. Rob Ramage back from suspension in Calgary. And Paul Ranheim back from suspension in Calgary as well. So they get 2 players back for free. Right, we have 2 days off here before we go ahead and play against the Buffalo Sabres. Terry Carkner is suspended yet again in Philadelphia. He's going to miss 9 games. Good night for Dale Hawerchuk with the Jets. He had 5 goals against the Blues. Yeah, that's pretty good. Right, Brian Bellows extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 assists against the Habs. Steve Larmer is day-to-day with the Blackhawks. Oh god, that's a 3-month day-to-day injury, so he's going to be playing hurt for a while. Brian Noonan is back from suspension in Chicago, and Ken Baumgartner is feeling better. He had been day-to-day for a while, we just never got the news about it. That's how much we care. Alright, Buffalo in town now. Buffalo are 22-20-3, so that's not bad. That's actually similar to our record. We are 1-0 against Buffalo. We beat them 2-1 in Buffalo earlier this season. Kinda need a W here. Olaf Kolzig is going to be in net for the Sabres. Glenn Healy is going to be in net for us. Whew, another loss, 7-4. Folks, I don't know what's going on. But we're not winning. That's not good. Alright, Buffalo outshot us 41-38. John Tucker was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals. Lindy Ruff was the second star with 2 assists. And Christian Ruutu was the third star with 2 goals. Another sellout crowd. And another bad performance for the Kings. Luc Robitaille did open up the scoring in the first. That was his 15th of the season from Randy Ladouceur and Wayne Gretzky. 1-0 Kings after 1. There was a fight between Randy Ladouceur and Gart Butcher. Then the Sabres scored twice in the second period, made it 2-1 Buffalo after 2. There was a fight between Gord Dineen and Mike Foligno as well. Then in the third period the goals started to come in. Buffalo scored, made it 3-1. Then Wayne Gretzky scored his 50th from Mike Gartner and Luc Robitaille. Then Buffalo scored twice, made it 5-2. We scored twice. Ridley scored on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Gary Galley. Then Luc Robitaille on the power play as well from Gary Galley and Mike Ridley. It was 5-4, so it was to within one, but then Buffalo scored, made it 6-4, and then they scored again in an empty net. We lost 7-4. We are winless in 4 straight games. Marty McSorley fought Dave Taylor. Oh, former teammates got at it. Alright. Dan Gratton is hurt. One to 2 weeks, so I'm gonna need to do something about that. No stopping John Tucker, he had a hat trick against us. Brian Propp is hurt in Philadelphia. He's going to miss 2 months with a torn pectoral muscle. Paul Coffey extends his point and assist streak to 14 games with an assist against the Flyers. Joe Mullen has produced 600 points in his career with a goal against the St. Louis Blues. Ken Baumgartner feeling better. Now we have to send Dan Gratton to the injured reserve. And we get to recall one of our awesome All-Star forwards that we have available to us. We have no depth at all. I guess it's gonna be Gernander again. I mean, he's the only one with some potential, so it's like, yeah, go develop, man. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're gonna be playing at home against the Red Wings. So that was a 5-game homestand, and we haven't won a game yet. We're gonna need to try to do better here for our fans. They deserve better. Brian Bellows extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 assists against the Blackhawks. Dino Ciccarelli extends his goal streak to 5 games with 2 goals in that same game. Suspension for Ken Lindsman of Boston. Should be familiar with that, I believe. I don't know how often he got suspended in real life. I just know that he was known to be a dirty player. Alright, 2 game suspension for the Rat. Sylvain Turgeon has a great game. He had a hat trick against the Bruins in that same game. Mats Naslund has reached 600 points in his career. He had an assist against the New York Islanders. Right, Detroit is in town. They are 23, 21, and 2. They are 4th in the conference, right behind us. They are trailing us in the standings. We need to win this game, and the only game we played against them was at home, and we tied 3-3. Come on, guys, we need to win. All right, Greg Stefan is going to be in net for Detroit. We're going to go with Glenn Ely. Another loss, 6-4. That's we cannot stop the hemorrhage here. Alright, so we outshot Detroit 35-28. Adam Oates was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Mike Gartner was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Paul McLean was the third star with 3 assists. Another sellout crowd, another loss. Detroit scored the first 2 goals of the game in the first period. It was 2-0 for them after 1. Then in the second period, Luc Robitaille scored on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Jim Fox. Then Detroit scored again. It was 3-1, and then Wayne Gretzky scored from Mike Gartner, 3-2 Wings after 2. Then in the third period, Wings made it 4-2, and then we scored 2 goals. Mike Gartner from Randy Wood and Jeff Smith, and then Wayne Gretzky on the power play from Mike Ridley and Gary Galley. It was tied at 4. But shortly after, Rick Zombo scored, made it 5-4, and then in an empty net, the Wings completed the damage. We lost 6-4. That's not good. Alright, Adam Oates extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal and 3 assists, as we saw. Joe Mullen extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against the Bruins. Brian Bellows extends his point streak to 14 games with 2 assists against the Nordiques. Dino Ciccarelli in the same game, a goal streak of 6 games with a goal. And Paul Coffey extended his point streak to 15 games with 2 more assists against the Rangers, while Paul Coffey is on fire. And of course, it was 15 straight games with an assist as well. Alright, we have 4 days off to try to regroup after this disastrous homestand where we had 4 losses and a tie. And we're going to be heading to Vancouver to play against the Canucks, but we have 4 days off first. Joe Mullen extends his point streak to 13 games. He had a goal against Hartford. Ken Baumgartner is within sight of returning for us. Oh, Steve Smith has been put on the trade block by the Oilers. I cannot go for him. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and advance one more day. Alright, Yari Gronstrand has been put on waivers by Quebec. Ken Baumgartner is completely recovered from whatever it is that was going on with him. Craig Muni has also been put on waivers by the Oilers. And Charlie Bourgeois has been put on waivers by the Blues. I cannot claim them. Maybe I would go for Muni, maybe. Yeah, he's still a capable defensive defenseman at this junction of his career. I really need puck movers on the back end. My D sucks. Alright, so we are in Vancouver to play against the Canucks. Canucks are 13-33-3. That's dead last in the conference. That's a place they should be familiar with because that's where they spent all of last season. We are 4-1 against the Canucks this season. Come on, just give me a win. Give me at least a shot at a smile or something. I know I'm not gonna smile, but give me a reason to, regardless. 6-1 win. There you go. All right, good job for the team. I think I forgot to see who the goaltender were. Looks like it was Melanson and Kirk McLean. We outshot Vancouver 33-23. Luc Robitaille was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Mike Gartner was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Wayne Gretzky was the third star with, you guessed it, a goal and 2 assists as well. Alright, Marty McSorley opened up the scoring in the first from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky, then Luc Robitaille from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Gartner, and then Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Luc Robitaille and Gary Galley. It was a 3-0 Kings lead after 1. Then in the second period, Mike Gartner scored his 5th shorthanded from Luc Robitaille and Gerald Deduck. 4-0 Kings at that point. Randy Wood scored in the third period. That was his 5th of the season from Richie Dunn and Mike Ridley. It was 5-0. Then the Canucks scored, and then we scored again with 1 second left to go in the game. Jim Fox scored from Marty McSorley and Mike Kruszenski. It was a 6-1 victory for the Kings. There were some fights. In the third period, Rich Sutter fought Randy Ladouceur and Mike Hartman fought Gord Deneen. Alright, Igor Liba has been put on waivers by the Flyers. Adam Oates extends his point streak to 13 games. He had a goal against the Blues. Paul Coffey extends his point and assist streaks to 16 with an assist against the Devils. Suspension over for Ken Lindsman back in the lineup in Boston. Denis Savard just extended with Chicago 4-year extension. $380,000 a year. Sounds like peanuts nowadays. Well, I mean, not for me and more than likely you. I mean, for hockey players now. Oh, there's been a trade between the Rangers and the Flyers. Russ Fitzpatrick and Bob Bugner got traded by the Flyers to the Rangers for Kevin Miller and Igor Liba. Oh, so Liba already found a new home, huh? I think Kevin Miller is the best player in that trade, so I would say that the Flyers won this trade. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're going to be playing in Edmonton against the Oilers. Alright, so Tim Lenardon has been put on waivers again by Minnesota, and then Jacques Cloutier has been put on waivers by Buffalo. Brian Bellows' point streak ended at 14 games. No point against the Leafs. Dino Ciccarelli extends his goal streak to 7 games with a goal against the Leafs in that same game, and a good game for Al Iafrate in that same game, but playing for Toronto he had a hat-trick. Alright, so we are in Edmonton to play the Oilers. Oilers are 22, 23, and 4. That's good for 5th in the conference. We are 3 and 3 against Edmonton this season. Feels like we play them, every 3 or 4 games or something like that. It's gonna be our 7th game of the season already against them. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Grant Fiore in net for the Oilers. Come on, Kings. 3-2 win. We'll take it. Alright, so we just needed to play on the road, I guess. We outshot Edmonton 32-27. Gord Donine was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Gord Murphy was the second star with no points. And Luc Robitaille was the third star with a goal. Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring in the first on the power play from Jim Fox and Gary Galley. Then Jim Fox scored his 10th from Jeff Smith and Mike Ridley. It was a 2-0 lead for the Kings at that point. Then the Oilers scored, made it 2-1 in the second period. And then Luc Robitaille scored short-handed from Mike Gartner and Gord Donine. It was a 3-1 lead for the Kings at that point. There were some fights in the second period. Basil McRae and Ken Baumgartner fought. Jeff Bukaboom and Marty McSorley also fought. Then in the third period, Edmonton scored to come to within 1. It was 3-2 for the Kings, but that's all she wrote. That's another W for us. We needed a couple wins here, and we got them. Alright, Wayne Gretzky extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal here against the Oilers, as we saw. Memorable game for Steve Duchesne, who used to be LA property. Oh dear God, 7 assists against the Boston Bruins. Now I'm starting to regret trading you. I didn't have a choice because of the restrictions I've put on myself. Otherwise I would have kept Steve Duchesne. You can bet your butts on that. Pat LaFontaine is back from suspension with the Islanders. Joe Mullen's point streak ended at 13 games. He was held scoreless against the Rangers. Oh, that's gonna hurt Pittsburgh here. Torn UCL for Mario Lemieux. He's out for 5 months. Paul Coffey's point streak ended at 16 games. And so did his SS streak. He did not get a point against the Detroit Red Wings. Adam Oates' point streak ended at 13 games. Also didn't get a point in that game against Pittsburgh. Injury to sideline Dave Ellett playing for the Jets. He's going to miss 4 weeks with a torn meniscus. Pat Ellenach lights the lamp. He had 3 goals and an assist against Philadelphia. And Dan Gratton is starting to feel better. Well, that's something, I suppose. And just like that, we have only 2 games left here in January. It's going to be 2 home games against the Rangers and the Devils. Dino Ciccarelli extends his goal streak to 8 games with a goal and 3 assists against the Canucks. Cam Neely extended with Boston 3 more years. Oh, Ken Lindsman has been put on the block by the Bruins. There's been a trade between Montreal and Chicago. Mike Lader is going to Chicago for Bruce Cassidy. So trading similar type of defenseman. So I guess again not a trade to the magnitude of the Jeff Courtnall for Scott Mellenby, and then Lou Franceschetti was there, and then somebody else whom I already forgot. But that was a pretty good trade. Pretty entertaining for entertainment value. Alright, Rangers are in town. They are 28, 17, and 5. We played once against the Rangers. That was a tie, 2-2 tie, and it was at home as well. Let's see if we can beat them. This time, John Van Beesbrook is going to be in net for the Rangers. Glenn Ely in net for us. That's a 4-1 win. Finally a home win. The first home win of the month here. Alright, so shots were tied at 29 apiece. Mike Gartner was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Marty McSorley was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Gary Galley was the second star with the third star, with 2 assists. Full crowd. Yet again, Luc Robitaille opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 20th of the season from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky. 1-0 Kings after 1. In the second period, Marty McSorley scored from Wayne Gretzky and Gary Galley, and then Bob Kudelski from Gary Galley and Chris Kontos. 3-0 Kings after 2. Then there were some fights. Gerald Deduck and Tony Granato fought. Then Marty McSorley fought Don Maloney. And in the third period, the Rangers scored, made it 3-1. But shortly after, Mike Gartner scored from Randy Wood and Marty McSorley. It was a 4-1 win for the Kings. Ken Gernander improves at center. Well, that's good. Make yourself useful now, shall you? No points in 12 games. Yeah, he's just not good enough right now. Luc Robitaille extends his goal streak to 5 games with his goal against the Rangers. Right, and we have 3 days off, and then we're going to be playing the Devils for the last game of January. Mike Bullard has a great game for the Blues. He had a hat-trick against the Jets. Gary Lehman has a strong game for the Leafs. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Montreal Canadiens. Right, 1 more day off. Dan Gratton is on the brink of returning. That's good. Alright, so the Devils are in town. They are 15, 31, and 5. We are 1-0-1 against the Devils. We did beat them 5-1 in New Jersey earlier this month. Alright, let's win our last game of the month. And on a good note, Chris Terreri is going to be in net for the Devils, and we're going to go with Glenn Ely. And we won 5-2. That's good. We outshot the Devils 39-26. Randy Wood was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Chris Kontos was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Bob Kudelski was the third star with a goal and an assist. Another sellout crowd in LA. Bob Kudelski opening up the scoring in the first from Randy Wood and Chris Kontos. Then Chris Kontos from Randy Wood and Bob Kudelski. It was 2-0 Kings after one. Then in the second, Mike Gartner scored short-handed from Gerald Deduck, made it 3-0. There was a fight between Ken Baumgartner and Jim Matheson. Then in the third period, the Devils scored twice, so it was 3-2 for the Kings, but fear not, because Mike Ridley scored from Luc Robitaille and Mike Gartner, and then Mike Kruszenski scored in an empty net from Randy Wood and Scott Arniel. It was a 5-2 victory for the Kings. And there was another fight between Marty McSorley and Jim Korn. Oh, Kirk Muller got hurt against us and he's going to be out for 4 weeks with a knee sprain. Great night for Breto in St. Louis. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Islanders. Pat LaFontaine has a great game, 3 goals and an assist in that same game against St. Louis. Barry Peterson has achieved 600 points in his career with an assist against Calgary. Scouting, don't care. And then Dan Gratton is completely recovered. Can I call you right back up? Or do you have more days? No, I can. Let's put you on the active roster and then let's send down that Gernander guy. Alright, so we're gonna sim one more day so that we're on February 1st. Now we get to see how many jerseys we've sold. Jeff Brown extends his point streak to 12 games with the Nordiques. He had 2 assists against the Sabres. Most jerseys sold in LA: Gretzky, Gartner, Robitaille, Glenn Healy, and Marty McSorley. Top selling jerseys in the NHL. Well, Gretzky is 17th. Mario Lemieux extended with Pittsburgh despite being hurt for the rest of the season. 4 years. Oh, I thought it was a trade. I thought that the Flames traded Doug Gilmour to the Whalers, but that's not it. It's the players of the month. So Peter Sidorkiewicz and Doug Gilmour were the players of the month of January in the league. So we didn't do very good, and as a result, we have slid to 3rd in the conference. So we're gonna need to do something. I will make at least some. I will do at least something, or I will at least attempt to do something, I should say, before I go live the next time, which is probably going to be sometime next week due to my trip. It's not that dramatic. We are 1 point behind the Flames, who are now 1st in the conference. We have 2 games on, so we might be able to salvage that by, a nice turnaround here, hopefully. So yeah, only 1 injury still. Ray Shepard still not looking too good. He might be coming back at the end of at the tail end of the season, but I'm not expecting too much from there. Let's take a look at the standings in the other conference, the Wales Conference. So yeah, the Quebec Nordiques have snuck into playoff position right now. So in the Wales Conference, the teams that are in danger of missing the playoffs are the Devils, the Bruins, and the Capitals. So the Capitals, even with Andy Moog here kind of struggling, they should have let me have him. And in the Campbell Conference, it's the Blues and the Canucks that are really at the end there. Well, the Islanders are really good. It really did them good that I made that trade with them. I knew that I was losing that trade. I didn't realize I was going to lose it that badly. Both Randy Wood and Gerald Deduck have declined. I was hoping for at least, steady production, but they've both declined, so I really lost that trade. That's a nice change. I'm used to winning all of my trades, so that's, at least I guess that's nice for that. Alright, so let's take a look at some stats here. So Gretzky has 95 points in 51 games, then Robitaille 64 in 48, Fox 42 in 48, Gary Galley 41 in 48, and then it just goes down from there. So we're really not getting the same kind of offense output as we did last season. Seems like last season we had a lot more players that were a point per game. And in the entire league, it looks like the best goal scorer is still Wayne Gretzky, 10 ahead of second place Brett Hull, with 54 for Gretzky. Paul Coffey has 60 assists, that's the most in the league. And then the best scorer is Wayne Gretzky, he has 95, and that's 15 more than second place Brett Hull. Right, goaltenders, I don't have too much faith here. We're also not getting the same kind of goaltending we've been getting last year. Well, Rody Melanson has a 908 save percentage. That's good for 4th. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a combination of some shady goaltending at the worst moment and my D that's just not up to par. I mean, we're in playoff position and everything, but we're not dominating or anything like that. So I'm really going to need to address my D. I don't know how I'm going to do that. There's only so many guys that are fairly talented that I can go after. And I'm not able to get Gary Suter or Ray Borg. So I'm going to need to figure something else out. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop here for today. So as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.